A three-county police chase ending with a body found in the backseat of a car. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Emani Payne. We begin tonight with severe weather. At least 4 tornadoes touching down across the region this morning. Dozens of homes damaged. Payton Hinkle joins us now. And Payton, a lot of severe weather to get to. What do folks need to know right now?
Still an active scene here near Gamesway and Tates Creek Road. Lexington police now confirming an officer has been shot in the line of duty. The deadly storm knocking over this light pole, ripping this sidewalk up out of the street.
We are continuing to follow the devastating flooding taking place in eastern Kentucky right now. We know several people have died in the floods. Joining me now to talk about that is Governor Andy Beshear. Governor, thank you for being here with us today. It is absolutely devastating video, and before we show you that video, we do want to warn you that it may be difficult to watch. As someone familiar with this loss, when you hear the numbers, 36 people shot and killed so far this year in Lexington. The latest victim shot and killed just this afternoon. I mean, what is your reaction to that?
Turning now to weather, Chris, as you can see, I'm all smiles because the sun did come out today, so I really hope you're not going to rain on my parade. Turning now to weather, and Payton, I've got a bone to pick with you, okay? I've just got my hair done, the curls are fresh, okay, and I'm hearing that I'm going to need to have an umbrella on hand this week.
And I'm Emani Payne. Thanks for joining us. We are bracing for some icy conditions overnight. More than 24 schools already announcing closures or delays for tomorrow. The freezing temperatures will be of concern for anyone hitting the roads heading into tomorrow. Georgia MacArthur is live out there for us tonight. And Georgia, how are things looking right now? A new report shining light on just how serious the teacher shortage is here in Kentucky. A Texas woman indicted after allegedly stealing millions of dollars from the city of Lexington. Investigators say 24-year-old Shimea McDonald was part of a conspiracy to scam businesses and government emails. They say last year she and others impersonated a nonprofit, convincing a city official to wire nearly $4 million to a fake account. The city was able to recover those funds shortly after. A former Kentucky beauty queen has died. Cynthia Ann Bostic won Miss Owensboro and later went on to win Miss Kentucky back in 1970. After her big win, she went on to become an actress, appearing on soap operas and even landing a starring role in a feature film. She also ran her own public relations firm. Her memorial will be held in Wisconsin on Friday. She was 70 years old. President Biden facing mounting pressure to come up with new police reform following the deadly beating of Tyree Nichols in Memphis. In tonight's Talker, a Japanese YouTuber becomes a victim of credit card theft, and how it happened is just a little bit fishy. A Lexington high school suddenly fires its track and field coaches, leaving many parents wondering why and what's next. Well, we are just a few days away from the month of February, also known as Heart Health Month. It's something our chief medical contributor, Dr. Ryan Stanton, says everyone should be prioritizing. He says heart disease is a leading cause of death, but says that being active, eating healthy, and watching your stress levels can all help you better manage your heart health. The problem is that both seem really far apart already, with little energy to compromise. Fox's Lauren Blanchard is in Washington tonight with more. Thanks for watching. Our next newscast is at 5 a.m. 100. The number of people shot in Lexington so far this year.
But you see these commercials and it takes a village. Why? I haven't seen that village.
36. The number of people shot and killed so far in Lexington this year. That's one less than the city's homicide record in 2021.
Every year we're breaking a homicide record. What we're doing currently is not working.
3. The number of just a few mothers now working to create change after losing their sons to gun violence in the city. I sat down with them to discuss the rise in violence. As someone familiar with this loss, when you hear the numbers, 36 people shot and killed so far this year in Lexington. The latest victim shot and killed just this afternoon. I mean, what is your reaction to that?
It's kind of like you hate to go to sleep for real, because you know when you wake up it's going to be a shooting or a death. And it's just re-traumatizing to us.
Elisa Hairston's only son, Berkeley, was shot and killed last year.
They killed me. When they killed my son, they took me, a part of me, and I'm trying to get reintroduced to myself, because I'm not the same Lisa and I'm never going to be.
Both of Andrea Crocker's sons, John Tell and DeMichael, were killed in separate shootings.
Today marks 9 years that John Tell has been gone. The guy, he served his time, he's been released, and I see him on occasion. So that just brings back up the memories, you know, and it also brings that hatred, that anger inside of me, because you're walking around free, happy, living a good life, and my son's gone.
Tanya Lindsay's 16-year-old son, Ezavion, was shot and killed by his half-brother.
He was perfect to me, and he definitely did not get what he deserved, by no means.
Tanya going on to create a network for others mourning too.
So you all have created and developed this sisterhood to help you navigate this journey. I'm looking at the online community, it's more than 800 strong. Now, just talk about the sisterhood a little bit and how it's helping you all to heal.
These ladies and other ladies, we support each other. We have a understanding without words, I guess. And without them, I don't know if I would have been able to stand and be as strong as I am without the support of other mothers like me that go through the same thing.
To say they're upset about the rise in violence in Lexington would be an understatement.
And I just feel the system is not designed to help our children. You know, I think they know about some of these kids that have priors, and they give them a slap on the wrist and they let them out, and then once they let them out, they go murder other people's children. And I feel that if we could change some of the laws downtown, get some new judges downtown that really care about our children, I think we would move forward.
Is there closure ever?
No.
And even when you get justice, there's still no closure.
Or justice. I don't think any of us really consider receiving justice. He was probated.
And my case is still going on.
And as Andrea mentioned, she sees one of her son's killers around town on occasion. They say a change starts at home with involved parents raising children right, but that everyone from families to community and city leaders need to take on a more active role.
How do we stop the crime so that more lives aren't lost and so we don't continue having to have conversations like these?
Everybody's got to take accountability for what they're not doing. And until everybody takes their accountability for what's not being done, we're going to continue to have gun violence.
Well, thank you all so much for your time and sharing your stories. We know that there is power in numbers, and can only hope that your united front might help create some change here. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, absolutely. And for more information about SWAG, Sisters and Supporters Working Against Gun Violence, we have a link inside of this story on our website. That's fox56news.com.
Despite the devastation following this weekend's tornado, people living in the area are still finding the good in a tough situation. This house barely standing after an EF1 tornado moved through Saturday. The 110-mile-per-hour winds leaving behind significant damage. The entire community cleaning up today.
I had a table. It took the table out, took the vinyl siding off, and turned my air conditioning unit over.
Walking through the rubble in his own yard. It's a lot for Michael Sparks to take in. He's lived here for 15 years.
It's the worst storm when I lived here. I mean, it happened so fast. And we were on the porch when all this was going on. And I told my boy, I said, we need to go in the house now.
When they came back out this morning, their yard and neighborhood unrecognizable. Madison County Emergency Management says no injuries were reported and say it was all hands on deck to get power restored quickly and roadways cleared.
It is always a challenge anytime you see something that impacts your community. We never want bad things to happen, but if they do, we want to make sure that we're ready to support our community and help in any way that we can.
Everyone glad their neighbors are unharmed and thanking a higher power that it wasn't worse.
Lord had his hand on us, and he was here watching over us.
And if you still need help with cleanup or other resources, you're being asked to contact the Madison County Emergency Management Office. Reporting in Madison County, Emani Payne, Fox 56 News. October marks Domestic Violence Awareness Month. It's an issue that impacts nearly half the women and about a third of men here in Kentucky. That's according to Governor Beshear. One Central Kentucky woman says after almost losing her life, it's now her mission to save others from a similar fate.
Friday, July the 13th, 2018.
A day Mary Margaret Rice will never forget.
Were you ever afraid that you were going to die?
Yes.
The love story between Mary Margaret and Amos Burdett began simply enough.
Met my husband at church, But someone laughingly said the devil puts his children in church too.
But soon, Mary Margaret says God was the only thing protecting her from her husband's wrath.
I had longer hair, but I cut it, because he had grabbed it, was dragging me across the floor. The dog was across me to protect me. My friend on the phone said, after the fact said, I did not want to hang the phone up, but I had to call 911. I'm sorry. She said I had to call 911 because I could tell by his tone of voice that he was just so angry, and so the police did come.
Tired of the abuse, Mary Margaret left, moving in with a family member. But she says the abuse soon followed. Amos finding where Mary Margaret moved, door camera video showing him attacking her. He could be heard on camera taunting her.
Under the apple tree in the backyard, they found a 12-gauge pump-action shotgun with 4 shell casings. And at one point on the tape at the door, you can hear him say, "And I'm going with you."
Mary Margaret called police but says Amos took off, leading police on a high-speed chase that ended with Amos facing several charges, including attempted murder of a police officer. He's currently in the Scott County Jail, sentenced to 17 years in prison earlier this year. Mary Margaret turning to Greenhouse 17 to heal. It provides support and resources for survivors. Her advocate, Chris Bondarenko, is a survivor herself.
Giving folks a safe place to come with their vulnerabilities and their fears, and offering what you have, whether it's resources or just your presence or your willingness to companion them on that journey, I think can be really powerful.
Mary Margaret says she'll never forget what she endured over the years throughout her marriage, but is now, for the first time, focusing on living for her, finding things she enjoys doing, like traveling and spending time with friends and family.
If I could just help one person.
Still thanking a higher power for pulling her through.
I could be dead. But then again, that wasn't God's plan. That's why I say God was bigger than the devil that day.
If you or someone you know is in need of help, or for more information about Greenhouse 17, visit greenhouse17.org.